So after spending much of the winter in the south, we needed to get back from Mobile, Alabama up to northern Indiana, which is about 1,000 miles. So on that trip, how did this truck do for fuel economy? Now, some quick numbers on the truck first. It is a 7.3 liter gas engine. This is an F-350 with a payload capacity of about 3,800 pounds, and we're pulling about a 15,000 pound trailer. So what was our fuel economy number for the whole trip? 1,024 miles, average miles per gallon, 6.8. If you remember from the last video, it's about the same. But let's dig in because there was 3 days of driving and we got different numbers each day. Day number 1, Gulf Coast, basically sea level, and we needed to get to northern Alabama. That was a gradual climb, and when we got to where I was parked, it's at about 550 feet above sea level. So good climb, climbed all day. The weather was nice, mid to high 50s. It was sunny, not a lot of wind, and the roads in Alabama, at least the expressways, pretty nice. So fuel economy number for that leg of the trip, basically I-65 all the way up Alabama, 7.1. Day 2, northern Alabama through Tennessee and into Kentucky. So if you're familiar with that area, it's the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We're not talking huge inclines, but definitely a lot of up and down. The weather was a little bit cooler because, we're heading north. Basically, this whole trip is I-65. We're heading north, and it's getting cooler, so we're in the mid-40s. Fuel economy for that day, obviously the worst day of all, right? Wrong, 6.8. This was actually our average day. We spent the night in Louisville, Kentucky, and day number 3, basically we crossed the Ohio River and we were in Indiana the whole day. Nice, big, flat Indiana. Temperatures in the 30s. By the time we got home, there was still snow on the ground. Northern Indiana. It's a pretty flat state. The fuel economy in Indiana, 6.4. Why was Indiana the worst when it's flat? I've got a couple of theories. Number 1, the roads are terrible. There's a lot of construction, a lot of potholes. You're going along and you hit a pothole, and that's changing your direction, right? You're kind of bouncing you up. So you lose a little bit of momentum. Well, even on just rough pavement is doing that to you too. Drivers in Indiana are not great. And we drove the same road all the way from Mobile, Alabama to northern Indiana, I-65, and once we hit about Indianapolis, which is about the middle of the state, drivers got aggressive, angry, cutting people off. I had to do a lot of slowing down, speeding up, trying to adjust for other drivers. That hurts the fuel economy. Obviously, wind is going to slow you down. There's a good stretch in the north half of the state that is a giant wind farm. There's just, those huge energy generating windmills all along I-65, and there's very little in the way of trees that are blocking that wind, right? That area is always windy. You can see some semi-truck trailers kind of losing it a little bit, and it wasn't even particularly windy that day. And then temperature. It gets colder. Everything in your truck has, your truck wants to operate at a certain temperature, and when it's cold outside, things don't move the way they should. Let's talk about the cold a little bit more. Here's the giant drive shaft on this big truck, and here's the rear differential, right? So this spins, and then there's some gears inside of here. How does that all work? Why would the cold bother it, right? You got metal here. It's going to absorb that cold air, and it's going to cool down all the lubricant that's inside here, right? You got a thick, heavy oil in there, and it's kind of like butter, right? You keep your butter in the refrigerator and you pull it out and it's cold and it doesn't spread easily. You set it out on the counter for a little while, things start to go smooth. you put it out in the hot sun and it turns to liquid and it doesn't stick to things, right? So you're just like butter, your lubricant that's in your various parts of your truck, whether it be your differential or up front in your engine, those things have a desired temperature, and if they can't get warm enough, you can lose a couple percent. So that's going to be the cold air that's going to affect that, but it's also going to be rain, right? You splash rain up on here, and that's going to cool things down. And then if it's extra windy, that's going to cool things down. So cold weather, not great for your truck. Really hot weather, not great for your truck either. So the total cost on that trip came to about $508 for 1,024 miles, and we got a fuel economy of about 6.8. Now, the Indiana day, which was flat but cold, is the day that brought us down a lot. So I think it's possible to get an average of low 7s come summer, and the computer inside the truck was usually registering about 0.2 miles per gallon higher than what I was calculating. So one of our early trips, I did see somewhere around 8. So I'm interested to see if just it was because the truck was kind of new and hadn't learned yet, or if on a warmer day in more ideal conditions, if I actually can get close to 8. It's going to be a little while before I can test that, but we will see. If you're looking forward to the summer, and now with what's happening with gas prices, you're getting concerned about what it's going to cost, and maybe you're looking to buy a new truck and you're trying to figure out gas or diesel, what should I do? I built a little tool for everyone, which I will show you, and I've set up a website, and you guys can go on there and you can put in the cost of fuel. You can put in the cost of both gasoline and the price of diesel. Diesel is going to be more expensive, but a diesel engine is going to get better fuel economy. It's usually somewhere in the 20 to 40% range. It's hard to say exact, but somewhere in that range. And this tool will also let you put those numbers in, what you think you would get with a diesel and what you think you would get with a gas, right? If you're towing a smaller trailer, remember, I'm towing 15,000. If you're towing something like 7,000 pounds, you're probably going to get better numbers than I'm getting. Not double or anything like that, but you're probably going to get better. There's still, some of it's weight and some of it's aerodynamics, right? You're still pulling a big box. So we do long trips. We go for a couple months at a time. And the easiest way for us to save money is to travel less. Instead of traveling every week or every few days, if we push it off, 2 weeks, well, we essentially cut our bill in half with gas, right? Because we travel half as much. You'll also be able to put those numbers in and kind of calculate out your whole year and try to figure out what the cost will be. If you're thinking about going full time and maybe you are in that gas versus diesel debate, you'll be able to look at that full year number and see, hey, this makes sense or this doesn't make sense. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Again, check the description. Check that link out. Tell me what you think. I'll see you in the comments section. Thanks.